think it's wrong because it's putting women in danger.
Hi, we're here in Romford asking the public what they think about baby loss awareness and the value of life in the womb.
Were you aware that this government brought in bereavement leave for parents who have lost babies before 24 weeks of pregnancy?
I mean, that's a good thing, I think. Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before 20, yeah, I mean, a grieving parent, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's actually really good. I think that's really good, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, it's obviously circumstantial because it will depend on the circumstances of which they've lost the baby, how much they've been trying, but as a whole it's not exactly going to be a bad thing.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, the expected mom, yeah, they need a bit of time.
Yeah. Why shouldn't it be?
Why do you think it's a good thing? Positive.
Because everyone handles loss differently, and so they probably need time off for work, for mental health.
Because it's just as painful, isn't it? It doesn't mean anything just because it's before 24 weeks. I'm sure they feel the exact same pain, so I could imagine it would make sense for them to still get bereavement leave.
Because if they're suffering loss, then you've got to come to terms with that and be able to get laws to be able to enforce that. That's not going to be a bad thing.
I mean, you've lost a life. That's the worst thing that could ever happen, losing a life. And obviously a woman has carried this life. So if you had to lose a child, God forbid, then yeah, definitely you should have time to sit with that loss.
Yeah, 100%. That baby, even though it's still in the womb, it's still a part of your family. And if you have bereavement leave when you lose other family members, then I think that's definitely a step in the right direction.
They're going through grief already, so if they didn't get support from their employer or whoever's supposed to be supporting them, then I think it's wrong, to be honest.
So the same government have also voted to legalise DIY abortion up to birth, which means that a woman would be able to abort her own baby all the way up to even during birth. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's very dangerous, and I don't think that's right. Also, a person can lose their life doing something like that. It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but what you've just outlined to me right now, I wouldn't support that, to be fair. And also as well, the child as well. Because if we're saying any age, term time as well, then I don't know, man. It's a bit risky, to be fair.
Doesn't it have doesn't that jeopardise the health of the mother? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely disgusting that this is even being debated. It should not be debated. It's also very, very scary that, the government is actually considering putting this into law.
In terms of the post and all the way up to birth, well, obviously that should be regulated. Clearly hasn't been, like you said, in which case that should be regulated, but it should ideally be down to the woman, and she's got a choice for a reason, and it should be reinforced that she should be able to make that choice for herself.
Yeah, 100%. I disagree with that because I know that there's certain time periods where a baby forms nerves and they can actually feel pain.
I'm not sure of that. If it's up to maybe the first 12 weeks, I'm not sure up to the end. I don't know about that.
But I am very anti-abortion at all. No pills should be taken. No doctor should abort a child. I understand that we all have our own bodies, and it's a woman's body and a man's body, but I believe that at the moment of conception there will never be a baby ever like that ever again.
So during COVID times, they brought in pills by post where they send the abortion pill to the women so that they can do it themselves. It's supposed to only be up to 10 weeks, but some women are taking them up 20 weeks, 22 because they don't know how far it is. So basically they've taken it out of the laws so that if women take them that late, or even if they use any sort of instrument to end the life of their baby, that there'll be no kind of penalty or no protection for the woman or the baby.
That's horrible. That is very horrible because I feel like they need to be looked after a procedure like that. If a woman decides to do that, that's completely her choice, but she does definitely needs medical attention either before or after the procedure, and for them to just send it off on the mail like that, not knowing how it's going to impact them, because I'm sure there's complications in that, and not knowing what's going to happen afterwards, that's very, very irresponsible.
I think it should be rather a support to help the mother. And why? Sometimes with psychological support, they might decide to keep the baby. But if that doesn't work, then the baby can't get a home, you understand? Because there are people that are looking for children. So instead of killing the baby, I disagree with that side.
Do you think it's an inconsistency that on one hand the government is recognising the value of life and giving parents bereavement leave, and then on the other hand they're saying that women can now abort their babies up to birth? Is there inconsistency in our laws there?
It's an extreme contradiction, yes.
Yeah.
I believe it's an extreme contradiction, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so again, I don't know who's putting out these policies or who's for, who's what. But of course, there's a battle in that in its own self, you know. There is a contradiction in both sides.
Making bereavement leave earlier than what it was, and then on the other hand, you're allowing women to take pills right after the 24 weeks. I think it just doesn't make any sense, and I think it's wrong because it's putting women in danger. And usually, I feel like women get the short end of the stick most of the time.
Because it's not gone through yet. What would you say to the government who's trying to push forward this law?
I guess things should be common sense, and logically speaking, the two contradict each other so much. You would think that a person would understand that while you're giving bereavement for the loss of a baby that was accidentally maybe miscarried or for an illness, why would you allow people to harm their own bodies by trying to abort a child?
Number one, they should listen to their constituents, because I believe that when a lot of people are actually educated about this, a lot of people would actually be against it because it's just the highest form of depravity. They should ultimately vote against it because it should have no place in law at all.
So I disagree with sending a pill at home, all those things, because there's a health risk as well. It's dangerous. It shouldn't be like that. We're talking about human being life here.
I think to send a pill at home is completely irresponsible, and you're putting British women at risk of infection, of sepsis. You don't know what's going to happen at home. I think the babies as well, they're fully formed, they're politicians, so they don't actually know in terms of medically what's going to happen to these women, what's going to happen to the baby, is it going to feel pain? So I think they should definitely change it back to how it was.